everyone, welcome back. We are on our last pocket page, and this video we're going to do page 7. So I have my last pocket page right here, and I'm going to label that 7 and 8. And let me give you your measurements. Okay, so flap A is going to be 7 5/8, which is 2 lines more than 7 1/2 by 5 1/2. B is going to be 7 5/8 by 2 7/8. So that's 2 lines less than 3. C is our pocket, 8 5/8 by 4 1/4. And D is 7 5/8 by 4 5/8. And that is 2 lines more than 4 1/2. Okay, so we are going to score these together. When we get to flat B, you're going to score it not with the flat side facing up, but with the textured side facing up. Usually I don't do that, but for this one, that's what we're going to do. So flap A, we're going to have the 7-inch side facing the top. Let me make sure. That doesn't look like 7. Hold on. Alright, let me see. It's 5 1/2. Okay, I was reading the page above. It did not look like 7 inches. Okay, so this is a 5 1/2 inch side facing the top. Whoops. Try that again. Okay, so B is going to be with our textured side facing the top, and you want the shortest side running along the top. So this is my textured side. All right, C, okay, is our pocket. So we are going to have the longest side facing the top and go around 3 sides. And D goes on top. So we are going to have the flat side facing up and our shortest side at the top. All right, so for the tape, just put everything on the linen side except for flat B, which we're going to have on the flat side. And the pocket, we'll do the long side first. This B one, we're just going to fold the other way. Okay. And let's cut our corners for the pocket. Okay, so now we have our pocket page, and let's start off with the bottom flap. That is A. I just want to erase my A here. I am going to put a corner, well actually this one I'm not going to, but the top flap and the B I'm going to round the edge. This flap A is going to have B on top of it, so I don't need to round that edge. Okay, so we're at the bottom, and you just want a little bit of space on the left and right. And we'll guide that right down to the bottom here. All right, and for the B flat, that's gonna go, let me see. Hold on one second, I wanna make sure I'm doing this right. What I'm trying to get is the linen side facing the top. So what happens here is, okay, the reason why I had you score it backwards and put the tape on the other side, we're gonna, instead of putting it on top of here, I'm gonna tuck it behind. So I'm gonna have it like that. Okay, so this is going to have a little corner, and let's take off this backing, and we're just going to tuck it behind. So I have it right on top of my A like that, and then I just fold it over. Okay, so we're going to be able to lift it up and pull it down. Okay, nice. And then we are going to put our top flap on, and I'm going to round those. Yeah, you can either put a small or a medium on this one. I just put the small on both of these. Up to you. Okay, now let me get my paperweight here so I can line this up. So I want my top flap to be lined up left and right with the bottom flap. And then I'm just going to guide it to the edge, the top edge of our pocket page. Okay. And then lastly, we're going to put the pocket in here like that. All right. So we'll take off the bottom. Okay, this just goes on the bottom, and leave yourself, there you go, leave yourself a little bit of space on the bottom so you're just above this score line. You don't have to be right on top of it, just above it by a little bit. And that way this flap can go over. All right, so now it's magnet time. And I will show you how I decorated in a minute. All right, so I am going to use small magnets here and then a big one underneath here. So that big one that I had before, I'm going to use over here. So first, let's do the small ones. Right under this. So this is the flat side now. So for the big one, I'm going to pull this down and put one right in the middle. And since it's a little bigger, I'm going to use my bigger tape, 3/8 inch. And this will go right over my pocket. You never want your magnet like half on and off the pocket. That's why when I measured this, I made sure that it would land above the pocket. Okay, so that will stick down. And for this top flap, I just don't want my edges to curl up, so I'm going to put one on each side. If you wanted to conserve, you could try putting a magnet in the middle and see how it goes. I've just always had better luck kind of just putting them on each corner. You know, I'm going to see how this goes because I may want to put this magnet on top of this flap, but let me see how this goes. So right now I have it like that and that. Not as strong of a closure, so I am going to see if I can move this magnet to the top flap. Dry a second. Let's see where it lands. It lands a little close to the edge, so I'm going to move this one up. You probably don't need to move yours. It depends on how close to the edge you put it. But I can foresee that I'm going to want a little bit more space. And when you peel your tape off, if any of your paper comes off of the black cardstock, it won't matter. You're going to be covering that up. So I'm going to move mine a little bit closer to the top. So I'm just sticking over this, the fold line. I'm onto this textured side just a little bit. Let me give that a second to dry. Clean up my area in the meantime. It's really quick dry, so you just got to give it a second, make sure it's dry, and then put your tape down. Okay, now let me put that down first. Then this flap goes on top, and I think my suction will just, not suction, but you know, magnetizing will be just a little bit stronger with that on the top as opposed to underneath. There. And that's a good distance away from the edge, so I can put design paper there and you won't see it. Like it. Okay, so let me show you which papers I used to decorate that page. Right, so I used the bench with the candle, welcome home, and what I did is I cut this line first. So I put the paper on top of here, made a little pencil mark, and cut the bottom first, and the edges, and brings me up to here. Put a pencil mark there. I used the opposite side, I forget which one. This is on the back side of one of them. And the leaves up here, which I thought looked really nice, falling down. Underneath, I have the same white distressed wood. I've got my leaves on the pocket. This piece has nice flowers on here. I used that. And on the inside, this was a leftover piece. And the pumpkin. So I just had this little tiny piece, and you know, a lot of times you have a little piece like that and you'll just toss it, but you can take a piece like that and put a solid underneath and put a little, this is just a sliver of a black piece, and it looks really nice. You can journal here, put a picture there, and that looks nice. So pretty much you can use all your scraps. I had very little left over. I used everything. And for the pullout, I chose a nice peachy color that went with the candle in the backpack. It just looked nice. And that is it. So we're on our last page in the next video. We're almost there, and you'll have a beautiful book soon. See you next video.